What's going on, Brian? Not playing your song, I wrote my own. Yours is better though. Brian's up in here, that's cool.
1, 2, 3, South Jersey.
Alright. Let's get this party started. Maybe. Going or not. I'm saying. Alright, one moment. Didn't work. There we go. Alright, this one here, I've been waiting a while. Let a few people jump in here. So, everybody can say hello to Prime. He's up in here. Steve, Ray, Adam, Mike. This is your song right here, brother. So, I'm waiting to do this one for a long time. I was actually preparing for this back when I was in Chicago or Beecher, my old shop. And I had a vision on what I wanted to do. I built a rack system before with a camera won't shrink, bear with me. All right. Oops. Can I turn around? I'm terrible at camera today. Okay, well, I guess it don't want to shrink. What's going on with this camera? Please hold. There we go. All right, sorry about everything. Malfunction. So I had an enclosed glass cabinet. They're server mount racks. I saw somewhere on the internet, I saw this rack. And I really liked it because it was open. It sat right on top of your desktop like it's sitting right there. Say hi, Molly. How are you? You say hi to everybody. Huh? Say what's up? Okay, we're going to catch you in a minute. So, my thoughts originally was to build a driver, power supply, build a bigger box like a 12 or a 16, and then do a 300 or 400 amp power supply down below. It'd be a heck of a package. The whole thing would plug into 220 or 240 volts, but I thought I'd try this one at 120 volts. And I'm pretty happy with it. The thing about the... Damn, I set something down, I can't find it. Alright. There it is. The thing about 120 volts, we're the only idiots in the whole wide world that run 120 volts. USA, USA, we're the only dum-dums that took and ran 120 volts in this world. Everybody's like, man, I gotta have 120 volts. I have 120 volts. You're very limited when you only have 120 volts. I wired this one for 120, but I'm probably gonna change it over to 240 just for the sake of I won't have dips and stuff like that. Now, I'm gonna show you guys performance not only of how this unit's running, how it looks, and how I assembled it, and I gave it a lot of thought. I'm really proud of this unit. It don't look like much on the outside, but the paint job is actually very cool. I did this with purple paint, and then I took fluorescent pink and sprayed it, and this is the cracked out lightning bolt looking kind of cabinet that turned out. And of course, it's a Psycho Zip box, so that kind of gives it away. We know what it's going to be, either 2 to 5. All right. So I decided just to, even though it's a rack mount, it'd probably be the one on the top of the rack, so you would see this in that opening if you didn't have a bunch of junk laying up there. So that said, let's peel the cover off this thing. This amp turned out so nice. I'm so happy with it. So, yeah, inside the curtains match the drapes, as they'd say. I went into this and I decided it's a small box. I'll go ahead and I'll take and I'll crack this thing out. When I cracked it out, I was like, oh yeah, I like that. Matches. You can't really appreciate what's on the inside because it's going to be in an enclosed cabinet like that. We need that Faraday cage. So, what's going on, Vincent, Terry, Wells, Steve, whoever else, Roger, and hope I probably missed quite a few of you guys. But normally in an amplifier, you wouldn't see an internal wall. Now I decided I want to try something. I'm going to put an internal wall in here and try to really direct my cooling, since you have a pretty good sized cabinet and you don't have optimal airspace for a fan kit. You could put a fan kit and a grill on there, but it's going to be sniffing air. It's not going to be sucking it in. It's just going to sniff the air. What's going on, Bill? How are you? So, I decided to do a little something different on this one. In fact, I actually had Mark over at the machine shop. I said, listen, I need a new a new plate. The black one's made out of steel. I don't want to tool it. So, I had him punch me out a blank, and I tooled it myself. Knock out holes, and etc. for air. And it all works really good. So, I had the opportunity, being this in a base box, and I made a massive mistake, fix it. How do you fix it? When I cut the holes in the back there, they're the same size I ended at the edge of the board. I was like, oh Lord, I didn't measure the heatsink and cut air passages for that and just do a standard off the heatsink block to the back wall. I intended to do that, but it didn't happen. And after I realized I made a mistake, I took advantage of my mistake. In fact, I took some copper clad, and instead of standing it straight up, I gave myself a little downward, probably about 30 degrees, and it hits here and it bounces it off, and air just flopping all over in here. And I'm telling you, this thing has a lot of cabin pressure coming out the amplifier holes. Now, in the same sense, same cavity here, yeah, that power supply needs a little cooling system. It has its own. I didn't even necessarily have to do this. I could have just punched air holes in here and said, I'll forget about that fan. No, I wanted cabin pressure. I wanted air pressure in this unit because it's going to be tightened up, put in this, maybe put in an enclosed cabinet where it's not going to get hardly any air at all but whatever's in the back. So as I build something, I put a lot of thought into it. And then I do a lot of testing and such. Now, everybody sees these power supplies, and there's guys out there buying them. They're taking orders, and they just discovered freaking America when they saw these power supplies. They're good power supplies. You have to take and do filtration on every power supply. Even the HPs, the pulls that everybody's been building with. You still have to take and work on the power supply. Now, this one flat out of the box, man, you can take this as a 1200 watt. This isn't the 1500 watt. This is a 1200 watt on 120 volts. Now, you have to manually hit a switch on the side to turn it over to 240, and if you forget, it's going to cost you 80 bucks, or 70 bucks, whatever it costs. Anyway, 70, 80 bucks. So, keep that in mind if you're going to be building this stuff. Don't forget to hit the switch, because if you do, you're just going to pee your pants, because it's going to sound like a shotgun went off, and then you're going to say, oh, that's right, I did that. I forgot. Look at that one. Boom. This thing is destroyed. I'll show you. They're built well. But if you forget to hit the switch, man, you ain't repairing nothing out of this. You're going to be cutting parts out. Say, oh, I can use this for this. I can use this piece of heatsink for something. But yeah, had the fuse in it too. It did have a fuse in it. So, again, I like 240 volts. I am going to take and switch this over, hit the switch. I'm going to rewire this. And the way how I set this up, it was going to be, hi Annie, how are you? It's my sister up in here. I decided to take and just leave the fuse in here. I didn't put a breaker up here, and I'm going to go and change that. So, if someone says, oh, you don't even have a breaker on there. Well, there's a fuse inside here, and that'll break everything. But I will put a breaker or a fuse system in this after I change it over. I am going to change it over 240 volts. I'm happy with the 120 volt test, but the 240 made all the difference in the world. So, other things that I took and I designed, and I gave a lot of thought of other things in this world that we use every day, I decided to take and have freestanding fans. I didn't bolt them down. Why? I wanted something I could take and move them if I need to work on it. So all I have to do is simply pull it out. Made myself a nice little clip channel. I'm sure I'm not the first dum-dum in the world to think of this, but that was my thought. What gave me the idea? You know how you hang your broomstick on the wall? Clip. There you go. That's a great idea. So, somebody a long time ago made $1 million off that idea. I just utilized it for my purpose. So again, I had Mark and Stassi take and make me some little channels, and I just tempered them with a hammer to get my grab just right how I wanted it before I installed them. So regular kind of business on a 5 transistor unit. It's 12879 driving 42879 HGs, and these are the standard transistors. I do not offer any type of 2879C in this configuration or with an internal driver. They don't really push bang for the buck for the increase of dollar amount for the power part. It's not enough increase to justify it. That's why I never built them. I built one, I took it right back apart, and I put these in there, and then I just changed some of the circuit around. So it's something I may visit again, but back in the day when I did that, it didn't cut it for me. So let me take and get a chair, and we will. I don't know what happened. There it is. We'll get this other little tripod thingy. All right. So I kind of went over the whole thing here. Now I'm going to go over how it functions. I'm going to toss the lid on it real quick. Well, I can leave it off for a little bit. Either way. So, when you light this thing up, you're going to have a voltmeter that's going to tell you everything's on. So, master power, turn it on, and she comes right on up. Now, yeah, they're cheap little voltmeters, but with this voltmeter, as I did my testing, I saw a voltage dip, and it hovers anywhere from 2 or 3. I saw 0.4 of a volt dip. That's why I really kind of want to take and lean towards the 240 volts, because I know that's a way better, more linear balanced feed system for these power supplies. They just run, everything runs better on 240 volts. Like I said, in America, we're the only dummies that ever took 120 volts. I don't think there's another country in the world that uses 120 volts. So, with that said, turn this knob right here, it's going to change the voltage. So we'll go down to minimum real quick. So why did I put a variable control on a base power supply? Well, let's say you want to control it. You want more or less power, RMS and including peak. They kind of go hand in hand. What's going on, Nightmare in New York? What's happening? All right, so we're down about 12.1. We're going to crank her on up here, turn her up. And it looks like it goes up about 16.1, 16.2. You can hear the fans increase. All right. So we're going to run her down here. We'll put her down to normal. About 14.8, 14.5, somewhere right in that area, 14.6. All right. So we're going to leave the amp like that. I'm going to shut it off for a minute. Just toss the lid on it. I want this to be a good test, not one that I have to wait for something to cool off. All right. So let's see here. There we go. All right. Now on this other last knob, it is a potentiometer for the 5 transistor unit. So you can crank that up and down as you choose. Now, let's take and change this real quick, and I can get you in my hand. Here we go. I'll find the magnet. There we go. She is stretched out. What's going on, Chuck Bunner? Okay, so I'm going to run my radio. I'm just going to leave it right there about 14.5. We'll be able to look at the input power right here. 25 watt slug, okay? 25 watt slug. Then I'm going to show you guys a really small slug. 500 milliwatts. You know why? Because I don't have standing wave up in this thing at all. Then we're going to move it on up to 5 and 25 just for you guys can have some sort of a comparison. So we're going to go from smallest to tallest on the input. All right, so let's light this thing up. Kind of get her going here. We're at 14.5. And make it easy on the slugs. We're looking at a 5,000, 1,000, and a 5,000 and 2,500. So the two over here is on the digital. What's going on, Edison? How are you? 2,500 and 5,000. And then on the analog, we'll have a 1,000 and a 5,000. And there is also a 2,500 there, and we'll show peak as well on all of this, because all the peaker tweakers love to see those peak. Peak, 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 peak. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickles. All right, let me get a carrier on this thing. All right, let's take and look at the voltage real quick. I'm going to set this up where you can clearly see it. I said it was dropping about 0.2 of a volt. So I'm going to drop it down to 14.2 just for this test real quick. Okay? Now, watch the voltmeter. It's going to dip a little bit. When I rewire this thing for 240 volts, I'll probably run this test one more time. Audio 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay. He didn't dip. Audio called me a liar and dot 1/10 of a volt. Now, let's just get this out of the way now. Let me go up here to 15.2 and see if she dives there. What happens is, as you go up on voltage, you lose amperage. And I know this amplifier is drawing every bit of 70 amps. Audio 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. She's pretty freaking solid. 1/10 of a volt. Solid. All right, let's turn it up. Let's see how far we can go. All right, there's 16.1. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I have mic gain. Okay. 1 2 1 2. All right. So obviously my radio's not driving terribly. So let's just roll this back and let's get on with this test. So we do realize the voltmeter is going to dip just a little bit. That's kind of normal. Here's where my radio's set. Let's take a look at my radio drive. 25 watt scale, top scale. And each line is 1/2 watt. Audio, 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 radio, radio, radio. So I have a good, nice, solid 9.5, 10 watts RMS. Input reflect, this is a 500 milliwatt slug, so that means that's a 1/2 watt slug. 50 is a 1/2 watt, okay? So there's 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5 equals 1/2 watt. Audio, 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 and that input is low, 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 low. Now, while we're here, we're just going to go ahead and change the slugs. Popcorn, what's happening, brother? 500 mil slug. Here's a 5 watt slug. Let's see how that one shuffles around down here. Okay. Audio 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Pretty much the same. It's really low. Like milliwatts, 2, 3, 4 milliwatts. And here's a 25 watt slug, 1 2 1 2 1 2. So when I didn't see that moving, I was like, man, what's going on? I had to take and dig out my small slugs. I put the 5 in there first, and I saw that didn't hardly move. I put the 500 mil in there. So don't want to blow up that $300 toy. So we're hanging out right about 14.5 right now, and we're looking at about 10 watts of drive. Audio, 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 audio. All right, input reflection. Let's look at it one more time. 1 2 3 4 is 25 watt slug. Now let's take a peek at this 1,000 watt slug RMS. Each line's 20, bottom scale. Got right under a 100 watt carrier. Audio, 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 audio. So it's showing me right around 380. I take that back. 380. We might have to do a voltage test again. That's backed all the way down. My bad. Audio, 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 all the way down. 380. And I'm at 14.5. Audio, audio, audio. So if you're not one to be jacking with the volts a lot, let's just go up here and set a carrier real quick. All right, let's look at the volts real quick. So we're at 14.5. You have to figure it out from there. Audio, 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 audio. Looks like about 2 to 3/10 of a volt. So still very happy. I'll rerun this since I had that thing back down. All right, we'll just go all the way to the top. Audio, 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 audio. She dives a little bit. That's okay. We don't need 16 volts. It's a driver. That's what I'm going to use it for, a driver. So let's leave her about right there. Let's go back up here and take a look and get back to our wattages. All right, hold on one second. I poked the button here. All right, here we go. Wattages. 1,000 watt slug. Amplifier is wide open. Let's see my carrier. About 250 watt carrier. Audio, 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 audio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a nice 550, 560. Audio 1, 2, 1, 2. Audio 3, 4, 5. So anywhere from 5 to 560. Let's look at 5 kilowatt slug. Each line's 100. Center scale. Audio, 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 audio. Showing me closer to a 6 there. Now let's look at the RMS 5 kilowatt. Let's see what scale. Yeah, 5 kilowatt scale. RMS. Audio, 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 audio. Is it Dave made a little generous, or is it a slug? Probably a slug. All right, here's your peaker, tweaker, tweaker, peaker, peaker, tweaker, peaker, tweaker. All right, so 12, 1250. Let's look at the peaker, tweaker, tweaking and a peaking on analog. Audio, peaker, tweaker, peaker, tweaker, peaker, tweaker, 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 tweaker. So that's a 1,200 watts there. Each line is 100 watts on that. Safe to say, it's a nice little unit as far as that goes. Now, are we going to increase? Now, the whole school says the only way you're going to increase your peak is by what? You can a little bit with drive, but you end up crunching something. The only way you're going to increase your peak is by having more voltage. So let's take a look at our 14.9 peak real quick. 14.9, 14.9, 14.9. So 1350. Let's see if it increases at all. If I go wide open, everything's wide open. Everything's cracked to the corners. Deep in the corner. Deep in the corner. Audio 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'd say I had an increase in peak. Now, did I get an increase in RMS? Let's take a peek. Hey, Randy White, how are you? 1, 2, 1, 2, audio 1, 2. I seen the 7 flash, but I still have a little radio left. Let's just really put the weight on the power supply, huh? Let's pick that up just a little. Okay. RMS, audio 700. Pika tweaka, audio 1350. I ain't calling a flash number. Still, 5 little transistors from a little Chinaman made in China by Mr. North. I don't think he makes them, he just sells them. They seem to work pretty good. So, I had put a really nice cord on here I got from Walmart next door. It's a 12 gauge cord, 3 wire. Hate to do it, but I think I'm going to chop the end off of it down there and put a 240 plug on it. So, as I build and design things, I give it a lot of thought. This one here, I gave it a couple years worth of thought because I just never really honestly had the time to sit there and lay something out like this. I have other things I need to be doing, but this is one that I just really wanted to get down in my books and marked as I did it. I really like how I gave it a lot of thought, get a lot of protection in here. There is 6 gauge wires being plumbed into this. Like I said, I believe at 120 volts, a 1200 watt power supply is just barely there at 120 volts. It would run fine if you used it for the purpose as I designed it as a driver. This is, my thoughts are, is going to get ran into either a 12 or 16 transistor unit with control, meaning radio, and control with voltage, and control with potentiometer. So if you guys haven't paid attention, I focus on a lot on controlling a system and to its very, very best. So what you're seeing here is the potentiometer for the 5 transistor unit. Yeah, it's farther away. I had to leader out some coax and stuff, and it wasn't a terrible thing. What's going on, Aaron? How are you? And then the other blue pot is a potentiometer that rolls the voltage up and down on this power supply. So I just kind of tried to keep it balanced a bit, And I think I nailed it for the most part. Paint job is really freaking cool. I'm kind of wished it were a little bit more pinker. It's more of a red, a ruby red. And if you look at the board, it kind of looks more of a purple. So it's kind of changes colors a bit depending on your lighting and such. So I'm not into all the, I'm going to light things up and this and that. I just like to do some cool colors, some really neat paint jobs. And to me, that's the fun part of this, is when I get to paint something. Someone said something to me about that. He's like, "Dan, you look like you're having the best fun just taking and painting the boards." I think it was Leadfoot that said that to me. I said, you know what? I have a lot of fun doing a paint job on this stuff, because building an amplifier to me is just time. I got to sit there and look at this thing and get a kink in my neck. Spend hours, especially when you have to lay something out. And this one really I just took my time, and everything is really good. The one thing that I thought it was going to screw me up was I dropped this a little short for it could make it right up under here, but then I made the mistake and I cut this plate at the bottom stop all the way down at the very bottom. I didn't notch it out like I did there in the back. And if I would have notched the step over that bottom right there, I could have ran that plate all the way to the wall and sealed it up. But then I would have had to punch another hole where the wires could get through there. So everything happens for a reason. They're sharing just this little bit of gap. It's about a 1/2 inch. And then you have probably about 3/8 of an inch up here. So a little bit of air is escaping from left to right, but it's not even a big deal. There's plenty of airflow going on in here. I have two 106 CFM fans, so they're really pumping some air into these things. It seems to work really well. Now, I had mentioned this one may not be for sale. Well, I kind of want to build that whole system, and this is like just the first piece. The second piece is going to be a 16 transistor unit in the same chassis, and that's going to have its own challenges. So I'll have to figure out how I want to take and manage that problem. And then the last piece will be probably, like I said, a 300 or a 400 amp power supply to run this entire system. So in the same aspect, I have the power supply over here, which would be the same thing, but I'm going to have external modules going into that rack. So the first portion is already in the amplifier. The second portion will be an amplifier, and the third portion will simply be a power supply, which, like I said, about 400 amp. So being a realist, that's exactly what I built right here. You have 400 amps right here, the first 4 switches. That's the mule. Then you have the 5th one. That is the one that will take and run the driver power supply on its own stud in the back. And then you have your variable potentiometer there. And then this switch here shares the voltmeter and amp meter. You can flop between the both of them. That unit's actually still for sale. Somebody wants it. It's $2,100 shipped to your house. Hawaii, maybe a little bit more. I'll split the bill with you. So this unit here, I couldn't even imagine to start thinking about the price tag I'd have to put on this, because this is number 1 right here. And like I said, I think I want to build the entire system. Then if I do decide to sell it, it'll be sold as one complete custom built one-off system. So I haven't even started to crack any numbers together on this stuff. So that said, the unit to me turned out beautiful. Turns on. The fans back here in the back, they don't kick on, the ones in the back, until the thermostat inside the power supply requires them to turn on. And they have their own control board inside that power supply for that. So like I said, to each their own. We all have the same opportunity to buy the same parts, but what we don't have the same is our imaginations of what we can do with the parts. So this is just a little bit digging into my head on how I look at things and how I want to design something. And this was a blank canvas. This wasn't a pre-punched out unit or anything. It was totally not a hole in it, just like you see here. Totally sealed up. Then and I decided to take the steel plate off and go with aluminum, just to make it a little easier for me to do the tooling. But other than that, it's a short rack. It's a server mount rack. And I think I paid maybe $45 for that rack system. It's just a skeleton, more or less. Pretty simple. And then these cabinets, man, I tell you, I think I paid quite a bit for these cabinets. Today's market, I think they're like 65, 70 bucks a piece, maybe cheaper. It could be dead wrong, but I remember paying at least $45 for them. But I like it. I like it a lot. I think it works really well. And I really appreciate you guys stopping in and checking it out. We'll go ahead and we'll take and bump it down a few more times. I don't like taking and doing lids sometimes. I can't see everything. Especially with fans running. You put a corner in one of those fans, you know you're going to knock it out. It's a nice looking package. I think it turned out really good. You know, I'm not going to make it, I don't think, Darren, down there. And thank you very much for the compliment. I don't think I'm going to make it Chicago. I started to. It could change, but at this point, I'm not going to try to do the Chicago break key down, because honestly, I doubt there's even going to be a key down for DC guys. A lot of AC guys are chattering about it, but there's no DC guys talking about it, so might not go to that one. Even though it's my hometown, I can afford to miss it. But anyhow, let's take and just cruise this thing right along. Let's dump my radio down just a little bit. And let's give her some bumpity bump, 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 bump. Yeah, we'll change some slugs around. Here's 1,000. We take in, what's going on, Mark? How are you? 6-pack's up in here. Prime was up in here a little bit ago. I don't know if he's still here or not. 1,000 watt slug, each line's 20. Audio 1 2 1 2. Audio 1 2. So about 580 or so. Let's take a look and take 1,000 out. They can put the 2,500 in it, since we're looking at that bird. Coaxial Dynamics audio right there. Audio. 550 on the 2,500. Audio. Just a touch over 550. We'll look at the 5 kilowatt one more time. Audio. Show me a good 6 there. Let's look at the analog peaker tweaker. Analog peaker tweaker. Each line is 100. Audio. Right, touching 12. And let's look at the peaker tweaker on the digital audio. 1250, 1300. And the RMS audio. Let's take a look at what that 2,500 says in RMS. Audio, 550, 575. That one's happy. And let's check this out. Audio, peaker, tweaker. What's going on, Crystal? Mark says he's hanging out with you. I was right in the middle of a breath. Molly, moo. Where are you? What are you doing, Moo? Huh? Molly, where you at? Huh? Where you at, Molly? Hey, come here. Let's see it. Psycho Zip song. Come here, Molly. Come here. What's going on, man? How's things? What'd you do today? What'd you do with the babies? Now, you were all excited when I was setting up to get ready to do the camera thing, and now you're looking like you're sad. What's up? Come here, Molly. Hey, come here. Psycho Zip. Yeah, come here. Come here, maybe. Why are you crawling? Come here, give me a hug. Give me something. Come on up here. You ain't doing nothing. You gonna say hi to everybody because you love them? Huh, Molly? You can say hello. Molly. Roo. Molly, hi. Molly, hi. Sit. Wave. Something? Not feeling good. Your nose is dry as a desert. You gonna wave? Molly. Got nothing? Come on, say hello. Molly. Hello. Roo. Ra. Hello. Did I gotta talk doggy to you? Roof. Nothing? You puttering out on me. You've been hanging out with the hoodlums too long. You don't know how to do videos no more, Molly. You good? All right. Having a beer with my Hawaiian friends right here. All of them. There we go. Aaron, what's happening? John, Mark. A little Psycho Zip right here. #1 rack mount. So, hey guys, thanks for watching. I'm not going to continue to take and just carry on about whatever. There's only so much I can say about this stuff. But one thing more I will say. One little more thing. Coax. Come on, guys. D-Win. You know all about Coax. I bet everybody in your family knows about velocity factor. Now, if we can get the general public to get it, I don't know, D1, maybe you should hold a class. You do good on your educational speeches. I think you should hold a class about velocity factor. So, I don't got the damn time. You probably don't either. But anyway, you cut it. Running a half a wavelength down to this unit and a half a wavelength out of this unit. Depending on what's behind this is going to determine if you need a half wavelength or a quarter wavelength. Typically, those are only two lengths you should be concerned about, and it will always be a half a wavelength from your radio to your first piece of equipment. Even a watt meter, it would be a half a wavelength from your radio to the watt meter and then off to the antenna. So there you go, coax, coax, coax. Yes, it's very important, and remember, standing wave comes with it. So if you have a lot of it, you ain't gonna have no equipment left after you get done getting drunk trying to talk on that stuff. So y'all take care. God bless. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. This is one of a couple more I need to build. And I really want to. I have to make time. I have to make the money to do it. This comes out of my pocket. I do not experiment on somebody else's dime. Never did it, never will. So, guys, take care. God bless. Thanks for watching. If you are new to my YouTube page, please smash the subscribe button and follow. Facebook, same thing. They'll leave these videos up for 30 days and then they take them off. But they'll always be on my YouTube page. 123 Built Chicago. Y'all got any questions? And just give me a ring in Messenger or give me a ring on the phone. PM me something. Text me. I'll try to get to your questions and answers. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Cool looking unit. I'm out of here.